Welcome to the Sports Desk. I'm KJ Pilcher of the Gazette, and I'm joined by our sports summer intern, Dylan Montz. And we're making the transition from summer into fall, and that means we're starting football season. And some of the schools had opening day practice for teams competing in week 0. One of those teams happens to be Springville that you went to go see, Dylan. Talk a little bit about Springville and what their season looks like coming up.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of enthusiasm and excitement for this year. Last year, they went 8-3 and made state playoffs for the first time in school history under head coach Joe Martin, and this will be his 3rd season now. So there's been a lot of buzz in the off season. You know, people are excited, asking, getting ready for football season, which they have been. So I think that the enthusiasm that they're showing in practice, they're poised to do well again this season. The team will look a little bit different. They lost Jake Hewlett, who was their first team All-State, kind of do-it-all guy. He was a tight end, linebacker. He's actually down at the University of Iowa now. But they have a returning quarterback in Sam Scriver, and he passed for 1,200 yards last season and threw for 17 touchdowns, I believe. And they also returned first-team All-Stater Elias Nissen, who was their running back and kind of do-it-all guy. He was the first-team All-State utility guy. And then they returned Tyler Stewart on defense as well in the linebacker position. So they have some of that senior leadership this year. I think there will be some pieces to fill in for what they're missing from Hewlett.
They talk a little bit about maybe the change in culture, a team that's never been to the playoffs, have such success last year. Is there a point to where maybe Coach Martin mentioned the Orioles are now expecting to go out and win and make the playoffs instead of that being kind of a lofty goal like in the past?
Definitely, that mentality has totally changed. And everyone mentioned yesterday the expectations are that much higher this season as opposed to last season. Last season, they did well, but they got some breaks here and there and found themselves at 8-3. But this year they expect to do that and go farther. Last year they lost in the second round to Don Bosco, 48-42, so close game. So, just a couple plays here and there, they're, advancing even farther. So I believe, they're poised to do well again with the mentality that they've gained.
Will Elias Nissen kind of be at the center of what they do offensively and maybe even defensively as well? Sure.
They'll kind of look to him like they did Jake Hewlett to make those kind of big-time plays. He's not the same position, but he'll be that kind of go-to guy who, long snapper, running back, linebacker, kind of a do-it-all type player for him. Then you went out to Central City yesterday and kind of, found out what they're going to be like.
Yeah, kind of interesting the fact that at one time the two programs used to share a program together. The Springville and Central City used to play together as one team years ago. The Catbirds are now extinct, and kind of a opposite direction for the two programs right now. When they first jumped to 8-man back in 2008, Central City had one of its best years, 8-1, making the playoffs for the first time. However, those days have kind of been in the rearview mirror. They've only won one game each of the last 2 years. A new head coach, kind of. Brian Deal is now taken over as a sole head coach, being a co-head coach with Matt Weiss, who is now kind of focusing on his AD duties. There's some big expectations for them. They want to tear everything up. They want to start anew. They really are focused on trying to come away with 5 wins. That 1-win to 5-win jump is kind of a big one, but they think they have the athletes that can do it. They're kind of led by quarterback David Mosier. He's going to be a 3-year starter this year. Actually started his first start as a freshman. So that's kind of unique with a quarterback starting for 4 years. They've taken their lumps. They've got some top receivers coming back. Sean Ludeman, Seth Schlotterbeck, Nick McCary, part of that. They have some weapons, some skill players that if they're going to make that jump, they kind of have the athletes to be able to do it this year, but we'll see how they're able to grow.
What was the sense you were getting around practice yesterday, I guess, with, from those leader type positions?
Pretty upbeat. They really want to give it a go, and they're really excited and think they can make a run this year. So we'll see if they can do that. And make sure to catch all our coverage at iowaprepsports.com. And thanks for watching the Sports Desk.